Many ranching families are dealing with the issue of generational transfer. When to do it, how to do it, and how to keep peace in the family while you do it. We're here today in Throckmorton, Texas at the R.A. Brown Ranch, visiting with the Brown family about their decision to transfer the ranch. And with me now is Rob Brown. Rob, thanks so much for agreeing to come on our show.
Well, it's proud to have you here.
We wanted to start, just to give people a bit of a perspective about the history of this ranch. 5 generations, is that right?
That's right. We actually moved from Virginia after the Civil War. My great-grandfather was in the Black Horse Cavalry under Zeb Stewart, and they lost everything in Virginia and came to Texas and started over. And we've been in the cattle business since the late 1800s, and we love the business, and it's passed down from family to family, and we've been fortunate. Most of the time we've grown it a little in each one's lifetime, but it's a chore to do today in the tax world that we're in. Got to make some decisions at some point.
Rob, 5 generations, over 100 years of ranching tradition. What events or circumstances led you to make this decision now?
We just feel like the death tax is a very unfair tax. I've worked all my lifetime to buy my sister out and grow this ranch, and to give it up for taxes is not what's in my plan, and that's why we made the decision to divide it to the 4 children at this time.
Some families in your position don't have any kids that want to come back to the ranch. In your case, you had 4 children that wanted to be involved in production agriculture. Did you find that a benefit or a challenge?
Yes, actually, they've grown some ranches of their own, and they've bought some land and know how to ranch, and are very capable, and not everybody's, I'm sure, got that circumstance. Not all of them like the seed stock end of it. Most of them like commercial cows and stocker, and of course we built this ranch around the seed stock end of it.
So tell us this, what was the children's reaction when you came to them and said, it's time to make a transfer?
Well, I think they were pleased. We let them do most of the work, and they really worked well with one another to pacify the needs of and desires of each one that are different. And when it came to the cattle, Donald was the only one that really wanted to stay in the seed stock business, so we decided a dispersal sale was the best way to divide the cattle.
And tell us this, as you mentioned the kids took a real leadership role. Give us more about the process of how you went through the mechanics of deciding who got what, or what assignment did you give your children?
Well, we had them to make the decision that they wanted to do it and wanted to work together, and they did, and they sat down and divided it up in increments that best fit. Jody, my son-in-law, was the only farmer in the bunch, so he got the majority of the farmland, and Donald needed the facilities, the feedlot, and all here at the headquarters to do a seed stock operation, and they really worked together to give one another the needs that they prefer.
As you and Peggy approached this process, what were you most afraid of?
Well, we were very fortunate. I mean, we don't know how long our lifespans are going to be, and we were very fortunate to be in a position with some other economic income that we felt was satisfactory for us, and tax-wise, we just felt like it was the time to make the move, and the kids were trained and ready, and so it's worked well for us.
Is there any part of the process that you look back on and say, that was a critical success factor, or this is something I would absolutely recommend to other people, a decision or an action that you took to make the process go smoother?
Well, I think the dispersal sale, as far as the cattle was, in our circumstance, where they had a very recognizable seed stock program going, and I think that worked. It's a lot easier to divide those dollars than it was to divide those cows, and so it's worked very well for us.
So Rob, tell us this. Is there anything you would have done differently looking back on the situation?
Well, history will, I guess, answer that for us, but we think it was a good move and it's gone well, and we're very happy and satisfied.
So Rob, fast forward 10 years from now, how will you know that this decision has been a success at that point?
Well, we hope Peg and I are still healthy and alive and enjoying our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and be fun to watch them grow up under ranching circumstances like our children did. And we've always said it's not the most lucrative occupation there is, but it's sure the right place to raise kids and cattle and quarter horses, and we think growing up on a ranch is really important, and a lot of love in the family and working together, and I think it's a great choice.
And you've done a good job raising all three of those things, I might add. One other question, actually, as you think about other families who are wrestling with the same issue that you wrestled with, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Well, I think they've got to do what fits their family, but passing this on tax-wise, we think is real important. My father passed away when he was 62 and hadn't done much tax planning, and I had to pay enough tax to almost buy the ranch again. And I just don't think that's a fair situation, and we think the kids can run it, and a lot of love in the family, and it'll work.
As we wrap up the interview today, you had made a comment once that as you make this decision, you're making this decision in order to keep the ranch in the family and the family in the ranch. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think just what it says. We want the kids to carry on in the ranching industry, and we're leaving them enough to get a start, and I think they could grow it, and with the love and talent that they have, I think we'll be in the ranching business for generations to come.
I would agree. Rob, thanks for your time, and thanks for all your sage wisdom today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you very kindly.